everyone, this is video number 3 of my video training series. My goal with this training series is to have each video build upon the previous videos. So if you haven't already watched videos number 1 and 2, go back and do so now, as a lot of the concepts we talked about are going to be expanded upon in this video. Today's topic is periodization. And what periodization is varying your training volume, intensity, and or frequency in order to maximize performance and training adaptations. As we talked about in the previous videos, your training volume is the number of sets times the reps times the load lifted. And the load lifted is a measure of training intensity or a percentage of your 1 repetition max strength. Now there's 3 ways to establish the load or the weight you're going to lift on an exercise. The first way is setting a rep range. For example, if you set the rep range of 8 to 12 reps, that means you're going to pick a weight that you can lift for at least 8 reps but no more than 12 reps. If you can't complete 8 reps, then the weight is too heavy. And if you can complete more than 12 reps, then the weight is too light. The second way is as an actual percentage of your 1 repetition max. For example, you could say, I'm going to do 3 sets of 10 reps at 65% of my 1 repetition max. If your 1 repetition max is 225, 65% would be about 145 pounds, so you would use 145 pounds for your 3 sets of 10 reps. The third way is by using a rating of perceived exertion or an Rpe scale based on repetitions in reserve or the number of repetitions you could still complete with that weight. A quick overview of the Rpe scale is an Rpe of 10 would be an all-out set, meaning you can't perform any more reps. An Rpe of 9 would mean you could have completed 1 more rep with that weight. An Rpe of 8 would mean you could complete 2 more reps, and an Rpe of 7 means you could have completed 3 more reps. For our discussion in this program, before I get into the periodization model, I want to point out that a beginner can probably get away with just using rep ranges. For example, if in your program you set your rep ranges to 8 to 12 reps, if you simply increase the weight you lifted every time you could complete 12 reps over a course of weeks or months, as a beginner, that would be enough stimulation to stimulate, or enough training overload to stimulate progress or muscle growth and increases in strength. As you progress past those beginner stages, you may need to add in a little more structure to your training protocol. This is where the percentage of 1 RM and the Rpe scale comes into play. For the sake of this video, we're not going to really discuss the Rpe scale. We're going to focus mainly on percentage of your 1 RM to establish the load lifted. Now, getting into periodization, the main underlying primary model is the linear periodization model. In this model, your training volume is going to decrease as your training intensity simultaneously increases in a linear fashion, hence the name. So what I've done is I've laid out a 3-month periodization model or training program that you could follow. So we're going to go over that now. Week 1, your volume is going to start out highest and your intensity is going to start out lowest. So you're going to do 3 sets of 10 reps at 65% of your 1 repetition max. If your 1 repetition max is 225, 65% would be about 145 pounds. Week number 2 would be 3 sets of 8 at 70% of your 1 RM. Week number 3 would be 3 sets of 6 at 75% of your 1 RM. And week number 4 would be 3 sets of 4 at 80% of your 1 RM. As you can see, your training volume is going down as the rep ranges decrease, but your training intensity is going up as the percentage of your 1 RM increases. That's your basic linear model. And as we've touched on in previous videos too, the goal of every training program is the underlying principle of progressive overload, or getting stronger and adding more weight to the bar progressively over time. If you aren't adding weight to the bar and getting stronger over time, you probably aren't progressing that much. So, this is month number 1, or training block number 1. Going to training block in month number 2, we're going to increase the training load by adding 10 pounds to the weights used in block number 1. So if in block number 1, week 1, 3 sets of 10, we did 145 pounds, in training block number 2, we're going to do 3 sets of 10 with 155 pounds. And you're going to increase by 10 pounds for each of the weight lifted in block number 1. In training block number 3, you may not be able to add 10 pounds again, so we're simply going to increase the training load by 5 pounds from the previous month. So in month number 1, week 1, you did 3 sets of 10 at 145 pounds. Month number 2, week 1, you did 3 sets of 10 at 155 pounds. And then in month number 3, week 1, you're going to do 3 sets of 10 at 160 pounds. So this is a basic model of periodization. Each week, your volume and intensity are changing. And taking it a step further, each month you're going to increase your training volume by increasing your training load. This is basically how you pre-establish periodization, or pre-establish or pre-build in progressive overload into your training. Again, in the initial stages, you might be able to get by just setting rep ranges and then increasing your strength whenever you complete the top end of the rep range. But as you become more advanced in your lifting career, you're going to want to implement periodization. In a non-periodized program, volume and intensity stay constant throughout. Research shows that periodization actually improves results versus a non-periodized program. So in this protocol, you go through months 1, 2, and 3, and at the end of the 3rd month, what you're going to do is you're actually going to retest your 1RM. Now, there's 2 ways you can do this. The first way is an actual 1 repetition max test, finding the maximum weight you can lift for 1 repetition. The second way is by doing an AMRAP, or performing a set with the weight for as many reps as possible. So for example, if your previous 1RM was 225, let's say at the end of these 3 months, you take 225 and you're going to see how many reps you can complete it for. And let's say you complete it for 225 for 5 repetitions. So now you can take 225 times 5 and plug it into the 1RM equation and find out your new estimated 1RM, which would be about 255 with that equation. So we see over the course of this 3-month period, you've increased your 1 repetition max strength by 30 pounds. Now with that new established 1 repetition max, you can either start a similar type of program or go into our more advanced periodization blocks, which we'll talk about in the next video. But the main thing I want to point it out is with periodization, you're varying your sets and your reps or your volume and intensity. In a linear model, volume is decreasing as intensity is increasing. So you can do this on a weekly basis by decreasing your rep ranges and increasing the load you lift. Again, in each month, you're increasing volume by increasing the load. In month number 2, we're simply adding 10 pounds to the weight lifted in month number 1. In month number 3, you're adding 5 pounds lifted to the weights from month number 2. So again, periodization does not have to be complex. Yes, it can be, especially as you progress into the advanced stages of your lifting career. But a linear model is the most simple form of periodization. It's going to be more effective than a non-periodized program. So I hope this kind of gives you an intro into periodization and how you can establish your training load and how you can manipulate sets and reps of volume and intensity. If you have any questions on this, feel free to post in the comment section below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll keep on making them. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed.